right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. 4 reviews up this week, the standard amount. Up first is Tetragon. Right, so getting behind the title here, Tetragon is usually referring to a shape, a flat shape of in this case, 4 corners. And yeah, if you look at the trailer footage here, it's all squares. The entire square motif goes through the entire game. And indeed, Tetragon is the entity that's guiding you through this magical forest. The plot here is you are a lumberjack who has lost his son to the woods, Lucius, and he's going through these forests to find his son, hopefully rescue him from, I think, death. You encounter ghostly visages of him throughout the game. And yeah, in strictly speaking genre terms, this is a puzzle platformer. And the overriding gimmick, if you will, is moving columns around and also rotating the board, if you will, to get to the exit. It's actually fairly simple and compact stuff for a puzzle platformer. It does evolve. It does throw in new gimmicks, like the second, let's say, world area, I guess is more accurate, because you go from the forest to a castle, and that introduces pillars that will slide back and get hot while doing that. But the basics of the game is, moving platforms to positions and making sure when you rotate the thing, you don't fall too far. There is, I guess it's technically falling damage. It's more falling death. Like if you fall about 4 U's, let's say, down, you will die. This is important because the significant power-up that I got is something that will allow you to jump about 3 U's high. Really the only major power-up I think of to speak of from what I saw. I'll grant I got to the 3rd act, and I'm not going to lie, I just kind of got bored with the game. It's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing bad with it per se. I just didn't find this game all that particularly compelling at its core. That's more a subjective thing. On an objective level, it's fine. The puzzles are well put together. Like I said, in terms of puzzle platformers, I played harder. I played easier, but I played harder. I think a lot of it has more to do with the format. Like, this is a really good game for the Switch. And yes, it is on the Switch. It's on all the major platforms. And because everything is very bite-sized, compact, you can puzzle around, for a few minutes. Like, it's a good thing to knock out a few levels on the way to the corner shop or waiting for the bus, some sort of field like that. Sitting down to play it in front of a more stationary device, even though I use a laptop for everything, is a bit of a form factor mismatch, I found. Once again, that's a personal taste thing. As I said, everything about this game is solid. Not amazing. It's not the great, it's not the next, some of the games cited here. It's not the next Witness or the Talos Principle, or even The Room. But it's good. It's solid. And yeah, all of the art works well enough. Maybe a bit of an indistinct art style but it gets the job done. Same with the music. That's kind of really my overriding thesis statement on this game. It's all solid. It's all fairly workhorse. It's got flourishes here and there. It's a solid 6.5 out of 10. And as far as replay value, there are collectibles in the form of there are 15 pieces of a talisman, and you won't be able to get all of them at once. Like the first one you will come across is in a level where you don't have access to the high jump, so you have to wait until you get to the next chapter to get to it. And I'm pretty sure one of them is in the secret level I didn't unlock. To cite another example. And there are also interactions with your ghostly son that are also counted as a collectible, because some of them are optional. I'm not exactly sure what... I'm presuming that they are, given the state, what's going on in the game, they're probably unlockables for the best ending, if I had to surmise. Again, but they are there. They do provide a modicum of replay value, but once again, this is definitely a one and done, because there's only the story mode. There's no randomizer. There's no endless mode. There's no level editor. Nothing like that. At least right now. Maybe something like that will be added in at a future time. But once again, we are reviewing this in the here and now. And none of that exists. So none of the puzzles will change. It's one of those games where it's all about figuring out the puzzle is the gameplay loop. I guess after that, there's the speedrunning loop. But, this game isn't really necessarily intended for speedrunning.
And certainly not for everybody.
Yeah. Well, the giveaway is there's no speedrun mode. Like, speedrun modes is a thing I've encountered in many modern indie games. What does the speedrun mode do? That gets rid of all of the quote-unquote fluff. That gets rid of the cutscenes. That gets rid of all the story stuff, which, takes up time. Nothing like that exists in the game. So, like I said, in terms of frills, there are no frills. At least as far as mode goes. In terms of, aesthetic values, there are definitely frills here. We've certainly encountered our fair share of minimalist, in one way or another, puzzle platform games. And this is definitely not minimalist. It's going for a bit on the abstract side, but also worth mentioning, some levels will introduce a different method of exiting. Instead of just going to the floating portal. There's one level where you have to rotate into a reflection pool. So you got to make sure that the pool's filled first. Yeah, that's the thing that got me.
Well, I guess it doesn't reflect super well if it's not full.
The end of the first chapter had you sliding these columns with symbols, which was less complicated than I think it was making it out to be. And if you have difficulty with the puzzles, this game was released back in August. Now, it's been out for about 2 months, let's say, which means there are guides on the web. I looked up on YouTube, and there are guides that will allow you to get everything. And in terms of pricing, Tetragon will clock in at $14.99 basic version. Steam does have a collector's bundle. It's it's the standardest of standard things. It's the soundtrack bundled in with the game itself. 1898. The soundtrack is sold independently on Steam for $4.99. There's also the Tetragon HD wallpapers. Those are free. In terms of, is this game worth $14.99? I'd say on the Switch, yes. On the PC, maybe not so much. Like, this game is even it's a bit hard to measure out, but it's not going to last you all that long. Probably a good thing. The chapters aren't as specifically 10 levels per chapter. Like chapter 2 is 12 levels. Chapter 4 is, if I'm remembering, 7 levels. I think the third one was 9 levels. And like I said, they're all short one-room affairs. The length of time is probably going to be in how much of a brain teaser you find these things, which is, once again, a variable thing. But, I think in general, this is on the easier side of puzzle platformers. Once again, at a foundation level, it's good. $15 good. Maybe a bit much there. I'd probably recommend this higher at $9.99, something like that. So wait for a sale. Soundtrack, the sound. It's one of those soundtracks that's there, but not really memorable on its own. I don't think I could really recommend the soundtrack on its own. HD wallpapers, sure, why not? They're free. Although it does look like they are only available in the bundle or in the DLC purchase. Or you could probably just add all the DLC to the cart and just get the wallpapers if you so wish. Anyway, once again, fairly solid game, bit understated. Probably not a lot of lasting power. I'd say on the arbitrary scale of arbitration, it ranks a 6.5 out of 10. It's a worthwhile enough pickup. Anyway, so that'll about do it for Tetragon here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as the Galax will be reviewing Bone Marrow.